Well, hello to everyone, and thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for the amazing call. I am so grateful to you, and I'm so excited to introduce the speaker for the call, Dr. Stan Harris, a.k.a. Dr. Breakthrough, who is an amazing gentleman. He is a serial entrepreneur, an evangelist, husband, father, martial artist. He's an author. He's a speaker. He's a coach. He's also a student as well as a teacher. And we are so grateful that he took time out of his busy schedule to join us. So, Dr. Harris, take it away.
All righty. Well, thank you. That's my lovely wife, Nadia. Call her my ABCD. That stands for Adorable Brown Caramel Delight. And by the way, she is not just beautiful on the outside, but she's 10 times more beautiful on the inside. And so appreciate doing life with her and business with her, and just incredible. So thank you very much. And tell her something about that essence of who she is. Just absolutely turns her brother on. All righty. So, hey, thank you for joining us. If you're a guest, hey, thank you for joining us tonight. It's going to be quite a different type of call probably than you've ever heard in your life. I'm going to cover some things I've never talked about anywhere ever before. And so this Kingdompreneur Bible Success Call, my wife and I started about 6.5 years ago. And just as in a nutshell, in the world, I taught entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is based on what you can do. I started teaching Kingdompreneur, and a Kingdompreneur principle, Kingdompreneur simply means, and I define it as one who allows God to provide through them a product or service to people for profit with pleasure to promote the kingdom while honoring the King of Kings. See, if you provide a product or service and there's no profit, you're a missionary. Nothing wrong with being a missionary, but there's too many people that think they're in business, but if you're not making a profit, you're like a missionary. You need somebody else to help you. So when you provide a product or service to people, there's no profit. The first M, you're a missionary. Second M, when you provide a product or service to people for profit, but there's no pleasure, you're miserable. And God doesn't want us to be miserable. The Bible says the blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. The third M, if you provide a product or service to people for profit with pleasure, eventually you'll be a millionaire. Proverbs 28:20, a faithful man shall abound with blessing. But the fourth M, and this is really what I'm all about, and hopefully you will be as well, and that is when you allow God to provide through you a product or service to people for profit with pleasure. Now the fourth M, you manifest all that he's promised you, health and wealth and influence. Ecclesiastes 2:26, for God giveth to a man that is good in his sight, both wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up. Why? That he may give to him that is good before God. And so, my friend, but then I found out there's some people, they just want to be consumers, right? They've been trained to be consumers. The television reinforces them to be consumers. And so I came up with a new concept, consumerpreneur. And what is a consumerpreneur? In a nutshell, a consumerpreneur is a committed group of individuals who consume a product or leverage a service with the intent of producing a profit. Ooh, did you get that? I said a consumerpreneur, and hopefully tonight you will be one of them, but a consumerpreneur is a committed group of individuals who consume a product or utilize a service, but with the intent of producing a profit. You see, my friend, if we do this thing right, then we can all produce a profit, not just profit from things that we've been buying or things that we need anyway, but we can also profit financially from just doing it together, what I call one big, huge success line. And success line means each of us help to create the success for the rest of us. So tonight, my friend, I'm going to talk about an incredible, I think there's some ABCs I talk about. I'm just going to mention it briefly. And that is the first ABC is when you awaken your blessed consciousness. And it's when you go from a place where you stop trying to be blessed, when you realize you already have been blessed. And so it's just awakening of your anointed, your blessed consciousness. And then he allows you, the next ABC is to be introduced to an anointed business concept, Well, whoever invited you on the call tonight, they are part of what I call an anointed business concept. An incredible, humble man of God, John Austin, came up with a concept, literally, my friend, that could change the world one person, yea, one drop at a time. So tonight, my friend, I am declaring war. And in essence, whoever invited you on the call, we are looking for warriors and winners and not wimps and whiners. Come on, somebody. I said we're looking for winners, warriors and winners, and not wimps and whiners. See, wimps never start, the weak never finish, and warriors never quit. And so, my friend, I want to talk to you. I want to introduce you to a thing because, see, 3 John 2 says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper. In other words, my friend, once you have your eternity settled and you know the Lord, you know that you're his and you've trusted his finished work of what he's done on the cross for us. Watch this. John said, above everything else, I want you to have health and wealth. And yet the covenant right that most people have in Christ, they are not utilizing them. And now most people, instead of being healthy, they're sick. And most people, instead of living in abundance, they're living in lack. And so I'm declaring war tonight, and I'm looking for some warriors and winners instead of those who are going to be wimps and whiners. And I want you to understand this, my friend. You've got to understand something. This is very powerful. It's really simple, and that is this. I am declaring war. You see, the body, watch this now, there's something that causes the body to degenerate, and it's something called dehydration. Dehydration. Do you know about 90% of people are dehydrated? Listen carefully. I said about 90% of people are dehydrated. And not only are they drinking coffee and soda and caffeinated drinks that are pulling the fluid out of the body, but most of them don't know. We probably heard you're supposed to drink 8-ounce glasses of water every day, but there's a Dr. Batman Gellish who proved and taught that you need to take your body weight, cut that in half, make that ounces, and drink that much water every day in ounces. But watch this, my friend. But the problem is most people don't like the taste of water. And most people, my friend, are still, well, they're still drinking some tap water, which has all the fluorine and chloride, which are carcinogenic. But most people have wised up and said, no, I'll get bottled water. And some of us have gotten even more wise and said, well, we'll get some alkaline water, right? But watch this, my friend. When you understand that the number one problem is dehydration. Dehydration, my friend, is a thing that leads. See, we go from dehydration to deficiency. And now the body is deficient. Your body is about 75 to 80% water. As a matter of fact, are you aware that when you lived in your mother's womb, you lived in water? Matter of fact, let's back up a little bit further. When God made man, he then breathed, watch this now, into man the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Watch this now. When God breathed, he breathed water and wind. Come on now. I said when God breathed in the man, so this man couldn't function, watch this, until the water and the wind's a picture of the spirit, and the water, listen, the water came inside. By the way, water is the only thing outside of God that shows no beginning. Come on now. In the beginning, I mean, the earth was without form. The water, my friend, covered. Watch this. The water, watch this now, the most important thing other than air, and man, watch this now, when you inhale, you then exhale. If you stand in front of a mirror, what do you see when you exhale? You see mist, which means this. Every time you exhale, you're getting rid of moisture. You're getting rid of fluids. And since most people aren't drinking enough water, they're dehydrated. Now that dehydration now continues on to deficiency. And now, my friend, I mean, think about this. What happens to your car if you don't have water in your radiator? And then all of a sudden the light comes on, meaning you need some water, because if not, the engine can take a chance on overheating and burning up. Now, with most people, you think most people would take a hammer and knock out that red light because they don't want to see? No, I don't want to see. I want to, and yet that's what people are doing with their body. So again, the process, it starts with dehydration. And by the way, I'm declaring war tonight on dehydration, because dehydration leads to deficiency, and then deficiency leads to dysfunction. And dysfunction oftentimes leads to depression. Matter of fact, a lot of people that call me that have depression, I tell them, look, just take 3 consecutive glasses of water, call me back in 10 or 15 minutes. About 80% of those people said, man, that's like magical. I was like, no, it's not magical. When you give the body what the body needs, the body can now do what God designed it to do. And by the way, the scripture says in Psalm 103, who healeth all thy diseases. Now, pray tell me, now that's an old saying, right? But pray tell me, how does God heal all of our diseases? He does that through the immune system. Watch this now. And the immune system is 90% is in your intestinal tract, in what we call the gut. But it says he healeth all our diseases. And by the way, he redeemeth thy life from destruction and crowns you with loving kindness. Watch this now. He satisfies thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles. Whoever got you on this call tonight, I'm holding in my hand a little bottle. It's called Hydration Drops. And my friend, I am declaring war tonight on dehydration. Why? Because dehydration leads to deficiency. Because deficiency then leads to dysfunction. Dysfunction then, one of the things it leads to is depression. And then it leads to dis-ease, or people call it disease. And then dis-ease keeps running its course, and it leads to despair. And after a while, it leads to death. And when someone dies, what happens? The fluids start to escape out of their body. Do you understand the average water that people are drinking today? The body only gets 3%. Only 3% of the minerals and nutrients gets to the cells. But the little bottle that I'm holding in my hand, the person that cared enough about you to tell you about this call, they are possessing a little bottle like I have in my hand called Hydration Drops. And you can only get it from a private shopping mall, which, by the way, it takes a membership. But unlike Sam's Club, this membership is a lifetime membership. And the catch is, oh, yeah, it's absolutely free to join. And by the way, there's no such thing as an auto-ship or making, no. And when you don't have to buy in bulk, you buy when you want to. The bottle I'm holding in my hand, 3 drops will treat 1 gallon of water. Now, if you're like me and you already drink alkaline water, guess what? It's going to turbocharge your water. If you've got a condom machine, you add 3 drops to a gallon. By the way, one of these bottles will treat up to 198 gallons. That's almost like 3 months worth of water for the average person, which means we're talking about pennies a day. Now watch this, my friend. I'm declaring war on dehydration. Why? Because I'm telling you, dehydration, oftentimes people with arthritis, it's dehydration. Oftentimes people, my friend, that have cancer, it's not just they're acidic, but guess what? They're dehydrated. Oftentimes high blood pressure. What is it? They're dehydrated. I'm telling you, my friend, dehydration is the enemy. I said dehydration is the enemy. Psalm 97:10 says, ye that love the Lord hate evil. And I'm about to break something down to you. John 10:10 says, the thief cometh not before to kill and to steal and to destroy. And then Jesus said, but I'm come that you might have life and you might have it more abundantly. Now, the thief, my friend, you know that thief starts with D, right? The D-E, the devil. But I'm come to tell you, the devil, the Bible says he comes to steal and to kill and to destroy. But means it can cancel out everything that goes. So listen, although the devil's trying to kill and trying to steal and to destroy, but Jesus said, I'm come that you might have life. And you don't even have to believe in him. I'm telling you, he came that you might have life and you might have it more abundantly. But the devil, the D-E I'm talking about tonight, is not the devil. It's the devil of dehydration. Come on, somebody. If you read the same verse and you think about it this way, the enemy, by the way, you got to understand dehydration is the enemy. And tonight I declare war on dehydration. And my friend, we're going to reach the world with these hydration drops. A pastor called me today. He said, man, I can't believe this. I have more energy than I've ever had before. My mind is starting to work sharper and clear. He said, I'm not hungry all the time. I don't understand. I said, I can explain it to you. Because now this is micro-clustered water. This is making water, in essence, more wet. This is allowing now the water to seep into your cells. They used to say you are what you eat. Then they said, no, you are what you digest. But then they said, no, you're only what you can assimilate, because they found out that people were eating food, digesting the food, but it would go to the colon. Now from the colon, it's supposed to be absorbed into the walls of the colon and through the ileocecal valves. But watch this. But because of a lot of the fried food, the colon has a caking around it. And what would happen? The digested food would pass right through the colon, and the nutrients would never be absorbed. So guess what, my friend? They found out that some of the largest people in the world are suffering the most from malnutrition. See, you thought malnutrition was some picture of some little child that they show with the belly popped out and the bones. No, listen, my friend, listen carefully. Malnutrition is the large people you see that constantly eat, because the body says, I'm hungry, I need some nutrients. The body technically doesn't need food. It needs nutrients that are locked into real food. But watch this, my friend. But because the food the people are eating oftentimes is dead, there's no live enzymes, because of the colon being caked, even when they eat decent food and the body digests, breaks it down into a water-like fluid, it can't absorb through the wall, so it can't be assimilated. Well, guess what? Even more so with water. Listen, my friend, listen. When you drink water, many people, my friend, have to constantly go to the bathroom, and some people have incontinence problems, but when they get these hydration drops, they say, wait a minute, I don't have any problems with my incontinence. Why? Because the water that they drink is, and by the way, it's still doing you good by flushing out toxins, but when you get the hydration drops, now, my friend, you just put 3 drops in a gallon, and by the way, it's best to have a glass or a special plastic that doesn't seep out, but watch this, and you let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, and now, my friend, you can drink away. And these people are now drinking this micro-clustered water that now goes directly into the cells, which, by the way, your brain is not what's in your head. That's the processor. The brain is actually, Steve was sharing with me, that the membrane is just the membrane around each of your cells. And you got 100 trillion cells in your body. By the way, every minute, 100 million are dying and being replaced. And when you put proper food or proper liquid nutrients, they can come back stronger, literally regenerating or come on now, and you can come back healthier. I mean, people that are using these hydration drops, people are saying, man, you're losing weight. Man, your blood pressure is dropping. By the way, we don't claim any cures. We don't claim to be diagnosing. We just know one simple thing. When you give the body what the body needs, the body does what God designs it to do. We just know that if dehydration is the problem, if people are acidic and all of a sudden they start getting this micro-clustered water into their cells, watch this now, the brain is that processor is just what's in your head, but really the brain is a membrane around each and every cell, my friend. And listen, and this micro-clustered hydration drop now allows each cell, my friend, it allows it to get the mineral it needs. By the way, why is it that a lot of people, when they're dehydrated, they go into depression? Because the brain is 85 to 90% water, and so the first thing to dehydrate is the brain, and now the neurotransmitters start clanging against each other, and it drops you into a depression. But when people use these hydration drops, again, we're not talking about curing anything. We're just talking about giving the body what the body needs so the body can do what it's designed to do. And I'm telling you, the thief of dehydration is killing people. The thief of dehydration is causing all kind of deficiency, the disease. Dehydration causing dysfunction and depression. Dehydration is eventually causing disease and despair. Dehydration is causing death. I declare war on dehydration. The people on this call, we declare war. And my friend, we're looking for some warriors and some winners who say, first of all, I'm going to get my hydration drops, and they're only $48. You'll get a website free. It'll have 24 different lead capture pages, absolutely free. But get your hydration drops, and then people that you love, people that you care about, we need some warriors to help us to fight this war. Because, again, the thief cometh for to kill, to steal, and destroy. Jesus said, I come that you might have life. Wait a minute, what's another name for Jesus? He's the water of life. Oh, wait a minute now. So if the devil is a picture of dehydration and Jesus is the water of life, like, listen, these hydration drops are like a symbol of what Jesus is doing with the devil. He's going to kill, steal, and destroy. Dehydration is killing, it's stealing, it's destroying. But these hydration drops, come on, somebody, it's rejuvenating, it's restoring, it's renewing, and it's allowing people to experience a breakthrough. And my friend, I am telling you, it's so simple that most people miss it. My oldest son, Joshua, powerful young man, and he served in the Marines. My other son, Josiah, again, another powerful young man. And Joshua, by the way, lifts weights. He's a power lifter, does spoken word and personal trainer, second-degree black belt. By the way, not long ago, we got to speak at the Potter's House to the men's group, and, you know, he was speaking with me. He was there with me, and while I had my brick stacked up and broke my brick, he broke his stack, and recently we did it again in Dallas. But I'm saying, what a joy to have. But then Josiah, he's in the Air Force, right? So these two young men, they've served they understand, my friend. I'm talking about serving your country in another way. I'm talking about we need everybody, my friend, to become warriors and to help us, my friend, to spread these hydration drops and let it do its work. I'm telling you, my friend, Jesus said, you drink this water, he said to the woman in John 4, you'll thirst again. But the water that I shall give you shall be a spring, a life-giving essence springing up to eternal. I'm saying, listen, my friend, it's very simple, but this is a powerful representation. And if Jesus is the water of life, these hydration drops then can take what dehydration is trying to do. It's trying to kill. It's trying to steal. It's trying to destroy. But these hydration drops, something as simple as that. By the way, my wife makes me fresh juice every morning, carrot, apple, celery. I just take one little drop of these hydration drops, and I turn that juice into now, my friend, micro-clustered, turbocharged. It's incredible. But you know, the Bible says in 1 Timothy 6:12, it says, but fight the good fight of faith. Now, good fight is not like Mike Tyson. Many of those fights with Mike Tyson, you know, he one punch and he was knocking them out. Now, guess what? When you knock somebody out, that's not a good fight. That's a good punch. That's not a good fight. A good fight means you hit the guy, knock him down. The other guy gets up, he fights, and after a while he hits you and knocks you. I mean, a good fight is like I saw not long ago, where the one guy knocked the guy down, the other guy got back up, and after a while knocked him down. The other guy got back up, by the way, hit the guy, and the guy, when he fell, he threw his shoulder out of joint, and now he's having to fight with a shoulder out of socket, out of joint, and the guy with his shoulder out of joint eventually knocks out the other. That was a good fight. Why? It was back and forth, back and forth. I'm telling you, my friend, it won't be easy. There are people that won't understand it, but that's why we need some warriors and some winners instead of wimps and whiners. We need some of you to say, you know what? If God says that he wishes above all things that I would be healthy, then I want to be healthy and wealthy like he wants me to. And listen, let me ask you this question, by the way. Would you like to be healthier, wealthier, or both? Okay? If you said both, like 99.9% of people, can I ask you another question, please? Would you like to get healthier and wealthier sooner or later? Now, if you're like 99.9% of people, you said sooner. Can I ask you another question, please? How soon is soon to you? I'm telling you, we have people ordering these hydration drops and getting it expedited shipping. Matter of fact, one brother, he just is on the plane to Africa. He got his in. I'm saying, and this company, by the way, is international. International. We don't need you right now to be some super duper salesman type. No. We just need you to be a warrior. We need you to be a person that says, you know, I declare war. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight this fight against dehydration, my friend, and I'm going to fight this good fight. As a matter of fact, the scripture says in 1 Timothy 1:8, he said, Timothy, I charge you. He said that thou mightest war a good warfare. And it's a good warfare, my friend, to let people know. Aren't you sick and tired of being sick, broken, tired? And by the way, do you understand, if we do this correctly, if we do this right as one huge success line, each of us help to create the success for the rest of us. It's like the folks that got tired of the banks years ago, taking their money, making all kind of money and throwing them little piddlings. And they said, we're going to pool our money together. And they came up with what's called credit unions that gave better service. Now, Unfortunately, some of them end up greed started getting in. But I'm saying the same thing, a committed group of consumerpreneurs. I don't need you right now to be some super bit. No. I just need you to be a consumerpreneur. You're consuming water anyway. You're drinking bottled water anyway. Some of you like me are getting alkaline water anyway. Some of you like me have bought a machine or whatever else. Okay, so I'm just saying, this add the hydration drops that automatically makes it micro-clustered and now allows, instead of 3% nutrients getting to the cells, 94%, my friend. I'm telling you, my friend, it's like God breathing again. When God breathed in the man, listen, that water and that wind and these drops, my friend, people, I'm telling you, a lot of people don't understand the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the arthritis. You ever notice old folks, how they shrivel over, bent over? It's because they're not drinking water after a while. It all goes back to hydration, my friend, and we need you to help us. And I love what Booker T. Washington said. He said, everything in life I began to do, I began with the idea I can and will succeed. I have made up my mind that we're going to reach at least 5 million or more members in the next 5 years. Now, I'm telling you, my friend, why? Because it's a need. And people, listen, if people knew better, they said people could do better. And if somebody could just teach them, listen, just to hydrate your body. You could mess up your car, and guess what? You can get another one. You could mess up your house. You could get another one. But if you mess up the house of your body, you can't get another one unless you're a Christian, you go to heaven, but by then it's too late, and too many Christians are going to heaven prematurely. Too many people, my friend, are living in sickness and dis-ease, and it's not because they just don't know. If they just knew about how these hydration drops would reduce the free radicals, if they just knew that hydration drops could give them a reduction in acids and toxins which cause pain, if they just knew the simple hydration drops could increase blood oxygen levels, if they just knew it could improve blood viscosity, which would reduce high blood pressure, if they knew that these drops would give them improvement nutrient absorption and would regulate body temperature and give them better pH balance at the cellular level, if they knew it could reduce constipation and improve bowel function, which, by the way, constipation means that's refuse that's trying to get out of your body. Imagine if you kept the trash, if the trash man didn't come and you kept trash in your house and the maggots and the worms. And listen, when you have constipation, your body's not eliminating processing properly. All those toxins, my friend, are now being reabsorbed, and now the body, my friend, is reabsorbing that poison. And a lot of the headaches, it's just a hydration situation. If they knew these hydration drops would slow the aging process, if they just knew hydration drops would help improve memory and brain function, if they just knew by simple 3 drops in a gallon of water, if they just knew this little bottle would treat 198 gallons, if they just knew it was only $48, you're already spending more on that in bottled water now. We're talking about pennies a day. Now, real quick, Steve, I just need you for 1 minute to come out to the front of the call. Steve, if you're out there, this gentleman has a 205 IQ, but unfortunately, he had a stroke. But I want you to hear some good news. Steve, are you out there? Star 6 should unmute your line. If you're out there, Steve, we may have lost him. Well, Steve had a stroke. Somebody shared, they loved Steve enough to share these hydration drops. As a matter of fact, we've got some other things. Write this down if you don't mind. The number 200-200-diseases.com. 200, www.200diseases.com. If you go to 200diseases.com, that's a free book. You can read on the right. There's a doctor with over 50 years of experience. But on the left-hand side, you'll see a list of ailments, everything from headaches to athlete's feet, to bad breath, to cancer, to HIV. I mean, there's a whole list of things. Just go to www.200diseases.com, and you can look up, and it'll give you some recommendation of things you can do And then, my friend, whoever invited you on the call, you get back to them, and they can give you a link that they have to give you a free membership where you can get these products at a discount, but especially these hydration drops. And my friend Steve got started on the drops, had a stroke. He was
Dr. Stan?
Hey, there you go, buddy. Real quick, you can tell your story better than I can. Quickly, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. July 18th, I had a stroke. They put me in the hospital, and I woke up, and they had tubes going out of my nose and everywhere else. They were feeding me because, if you don't know, when you drink water, when you have a stroke, you have an 80% chance of getting pneumonia and dying because you can't swallow right. Well, I was also blind from it. So I was really, all of a sudden, went from a real healthy young man to, something like this. And someone came along, my girlfriend came along, and had some the drops and some IE, and I basically drank them against the hospital bush. And the next day I told them, well, I got to go to the bathroom really bad. And they go, well, you got a catheter, go ahead. I go, no, I don't want to do it that way. Take it out. So I took it out, and I went and I peed 1,000 cc's. And they said, that's amazing. You just come back that quick. So my eyes started working a little bit, and I could see a little bit. I could see shapes, so that was great. So they put me in a wheelchair, and I started getting really better. I took some IE, which is a God molecule, which they haven't talked much about, but it's an amazing thing. I mean, I can tell when I ran out the difference, and I'd like to add to a little story. But most people don't realize with the God molecule, it regenerates lives. I have a friend that lost his leg, and a year ago, they monitored him because he has filters in his body for blood clots. So they watch his blood really close, and his testosterone levels were 225. And that's not really good for keeping your organs alive. So they gave him a shot. We went in just in December after taking the IE, and it was 700. And the doctor came running in the office and said, geez, Mike, what are you doing? What are you doing? He said, what do you mean? He said, well, you've actually turned your life around. You're living now. Your testosterone is at 700, which is like a teenager. And he goes, well, all I've been doing is taking IE. That's when he realized the IE started regenerating in his life. And as we know, it feeds the stem cells. I think it's going to be one of the biggest miracle supplements of the 21st century. So when you can start getting your own stem cells working again, there isn't nothing they can't fix. I think that's what happened to me, is it started fixing me right along to the water to get in there. So between the two of them, it was a miracle. And now they just let me out a month ago, and they told me I was at my 2-year level in 5 months. I met a lot of people that have been 2 years and they couldn't even still walk or do nothing. I walk, I drive, I do everything now. There's nothing I don't do. I'm a little some things, but I contributed to my IE and my water, and then the coaching from Liddy. I mean, she coached me all the way through it, telling me to have hope and faith. She was my angel. I call her my mothership. So.
Well, hey, Steve, thanks a lot, man. I apologize, our time is out, but thank you. And that product he was talking about, I tell you, the person that got you on the line, again, they can give you the website link. It's absolutely free. It'll have a list of products by especially hydration. We're declaring war on dehydration, so we're going to use hydration drops as our weapon. Now, there's something very, very, as I close, and by the way, I want you to know this. There's a gentleman just got started. He said, Doc, I had a terrible sore throat. I got my hydration drops. I drank some, gargled with it. 15 minutes, my sore throat was gone. He said, man, I can't believe this, man. So, I mean, this guy is on fire, but I'm telling you this. I want you to write this down. Sometimes it takes one person. It takes one decision or one action to change your life forever. You are that person. You must decide, and you must take action. You know, in Proverbs 13:23, it says, much food is in the tillage of the poor. What does that mean? That means a lack of resources is never the issue. It's always a lack of resourcefulness. In other words, poor folks, there's much food in the tillage of the poor, but they're not willing to work to get things to make things happen. Like the man at the pool of Bethesda, 38 years, he said, but I have no man when the water is troubled. He didn't know he was the man. See, I'm telling you, it's time for you, my friend, to pick yourself up with these hydration drops. It's time for you to get rewarded from this company when you just share these drops with others. We don't need you selling. We just need you to share out of love, like Liddy, who shared with Steve, like many people. Get back to whoever invited you, my friend, because I want to tell you something, and say, listen, I want to be in this war. I want to fight against this enemy of dehydration. I'm going to fight against this enemy of lack. And it's time, my friend. I'm sick and tired of being sick, broken, tired. And I'm ready, my friend, to make a difference. And so, my friend, it was one great man, George Washington Carver, said, if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way, and if not, any excuse will do. So listen, my friend, get back to whoever invited you. Say, I want the link. I want to get started. I'm ready to be a warrior. And I'm ready to declare war against dehydration. I'm ready to not let dehydration kill, steal, and destroy. But I'm willing to allow these hydration drops, which is like a symbol, living water, that can give me life and life more abundantly. And as I share it with others, there's 3 levels of success as I close. 1 is making money. That's the lowest level. 2, a higher level is making a difference. But 3, making money while you make a difference. And the more difference you make, the more money you can make. The more money you make, the more difference you make. And it all starts with these drops, taking them, sharing them, and getting rewarded. And so it's the start that stops most people. Don't let the start stop you. Get back to whoever invited you and get started now. If not, you could be poor. P-O-O-R, passing over opportunities repeatedly. But if you get back to the person invited you and get the link, you can position yourself to be rich, R-I-C-H, receiving insight, creating happiness. Rich, R-I-C-H, raking in cash happily. Rich, R-I-C-H, raking in cash honestly. This company is willing to reward you for helping them. They're not paying for TV ads. They're not paying for infomercials. No, they want to pay you for sharing the message, for being a warrior for truth, a warrior that won't turn back. Remember I said, the wimps, the wimps never get started, the weak never finish, but warriors never quit. So get back to whoever invited you and say, I'm ready to get started now. This is Dr. Stan Harris, known as Dr. Breakthrough. God bless you, my friend. Make it a breakthrough hydrating day.